All right, so I'm going to be just changing out the dash lights on this F-150 and making some modifications to the gauge clusters. So first and foremost, I've seen a couple guys on YouTube. Basically what they do is they take the cluster out, and where there's green, because default it's green, and I'll throw a little B-roll on the screen, and you'll see that clearly it makes the car look a little dated. So I really want to get rid of the green and just have it white, and I think that will clean things up. So there's a couple things I'll have to do to obviously get that all apart, and then I have this guy from Pickup Parts. I'm gonna get this all polished up. I'm probably gonna wet sand it and polish it out, and get it just like new. So we got that to do. So we're gonna start tearing this apart. So you can see this guy here, that gauge cluster is actually dropped a little bit. So we'll move that up, clean it all up, and then these guys as well, these controls in here, I'll also change and hopefully get those white as well. Let's pop this guy off. And then I also have a new trim panel here because these have been drilled out, so. Yeah, so basically there are a couple screws in here that were old and broke off, but there's just a plug. If your shifter arm is loose and the needles aren't in line, when you take this panel off, you can see this adjustment screw here, and you can adjust this to get your needle, your shift needle, this guy here, centered again. So if it's, you know, if it looks like this when it's in neutral and not like in the middle there, and then you can adjust this to tighten it or loosen it. So basically we gotta just unhook that. So that unhooks. Right here there's a little screw, you take that off, this will come off, and then you're free. Let's put this down. Let's feed this through first, so we don't want to get that mangled. Okay, so basically those three plugs are here, here, and here. And that's what it looks like. So let's take it to the bench. Okay, so again, these are 732. And we're just gonna pop these off. Let's pop this off. And then I like just to take a picture of how everything is sitting before I take the needles off. See, okay, so that pops off. Oh. Yeah, we'll keep everything else and literally just get rid of the green. I think that's the plan. So let me put these in a safe place, and I'll just blow this out quick. What's this? Old moth. Nice. That guy. Look at this guy. Okay. What I was doing was I was using Gooby Gone to remove the white to expose the green, and what I found was it was really hard. It took such a long time to remove this that my other strategy that worked really well, and I'm showing you because this is just another dash I had laying around after the fact, but you can see where it lights up green. The icons and these little blue edges, you'll want to keep those if you want to keep them blue. If you want them white, scratch them off. And basically the strategy that I use, so again, notice right here it says normal, it's all green, is I took a scalpel, something like this, and all I did was, make sure you guys can see that, is literally scratch out the white and green, and I found this to work way better. It was way more effective than using chemicals. I tried acetone. Again, that didn't seem to work very well, but this strategy was by far the most effective. Okay, so you can see that it was super easy to scratch off all of the green, and you can now see that you have the clean white, and it took all but, what, 30 seconds? So that works really, really well. And so all I did was I did the rest of the gauges, and I also did the, your gear selector. You can do that one as well with the scratching method. Where you're gonna run into issues is with the climate control, okay? So with the climate control, there's a few things. If you go to scratch off where it will show green, what ends up happening is it also takes the black, and it's the same thing if you use a chemical. So what I did is I made these and got them printed, and you'll see here further in the video how it looks, but basically I created these so everything is white, these show as blue and red. And the other thing is with this actual switch that sits inside of these circles, they have these little green crystals in there. And so what I went ahead and did was created my own molds and made my own crystals that were clear that go into the switch. And so everything now lights up white. And so I did end up making a few extra of these. So if you guys want one, I threw them up on our website. You can order them. I only have about 10, and it'll come with the gauge, 3 of these crystals to replace the green ones, which you can just pop out with a screwdriver. And it ended up working really well. It took a while to get the design right. It took a while to get the printing right, because there was a couple prints where it wasn't black enough, so they ended up double printing the black so only the lights would illuminate, because before we were seeing like this box around where the controls are, and it didn't look very good. So it took a few iterations, but we finally got it figured out. So this just has a 3M adhesive backing. You can literally just stick them on. So here's the instrument cluster. Here is where the oil pressure is, and what I found was my oil pressure wasn't reading at all. And so
a lot of guys have this issue with the OBS trucks, and so there are really two options to fix it. From what I found is that there's this little solenoid on the back, and this solenoid sometimes goes bad. So at a pickup part or wherever, you can just try cutting this out and resoldering the solenoid. What I ended up doing is I just heated up the contact on both sides with the solder gun, and I just heated it, and then as it heated it, I think it reconnected everything, which worked really well. That's all I had to do. I didn't actually end up having to replace the solenoid. I just heated it up with the solder gun, and now the gauge is actually working. And if you guys were just wanting to change the bulbs, you can do most of this if you're just doing the gauges without taking the whole cluster out. You can literally just take the glass out, and then these components pop out. If I can get one to pop out. So they have to be popped out in order, but you can pop these out, get access to the lights, and you can just pull the lights out from here versus taking everything apart and then having to try to fish to get these lights out. If you're switching to LEDs, if you are using LEDs, the 194 bulb works, is what you want, an LED 194 bulb. Again, I'll link the bulbs, and I'll also link our little climate control kits in the description of this video where you can pick them up. So that's what I ended up doing to get everything the way I wanted. Is, again, I used the scratching method, I got these plates made, and then I switched the switches from this green crystal to these clear crystals that I made. So I hope that helps, and let's proceed with the video. The goal here is to change this mileage gauge so it doesn't shine green, it shines white. And so once you get this out, flip it around. So there are these T10 screws holding 3 of them, holding the electronics. I'm doing this after the fact. There was a comment asking how it went. I says, well, I wasn't going to do it until if I had to take the dash apart again, but of course I couldn't help myself, so here we are. So this pops up. Well, I might have to take this one off too, so we got to take this guy off. And it's, again, T10s. Looks like I gotta take this needle off. So that goes like that. All right, so now that that's off, we can take these two off. Okay, so that pops out. And then this pops out. And now all you gotta do is scratch the green off here, and that should make it white. Well, at least that's what I'm hoping. So we're going to scratch that off, and we'll see how it turns out. All the greens are moved off here, so we're ready to put it back together, and then we'll get her installed. With this guy, I just glued, put everything back. It's pretty straightforward and simple to clean that up. So what I like to do with these guys is
obviously wipe them down, but then I like to just use like a headlight restoration kit and just polish them out. So I'll show you how that goes. Make sure you have a bottle of soapy water, and just gonna do a first clean. I already blew it off with compressed air yesterday. And I'm going to definitely do both sides. And you definitely just want to make sure there's no big dust particles, because what's going to happen is you're going to start polishing and you're going to polish these big freaking rocks into the glass, and you're going to be very, very disappointed. And I'm just going to use this drill attachment that comes with headlight restoration kits, and most of them it's got a foam backing, which is nice. And then I'm going to start with 2000 grit sandpaper. These guys here. Put this on the backing pad. Just gonna soak it up. And I'm just going to start slow. Okay, now I'm gonna switch to a 4000 grit disc, and that will just make the scratches finer. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back, finish with the 4000, and this is really gonna be the first check, because this will tell us if we missed anything. And all I'm using is a plastic polish and a foam pad on a drill. Pretty much every headlight restoration kit will have this, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. I also propped it up on a towel, just so there's not as much pressure on just the feet. So for our first test, I think I'm gonna have to go back with the 4000, because I don't feel like I've gotten enough of the 2000 scratches out. So we'll spend some more time with 4000, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I have got everything polished out. It's looking really good. I think I got literally every single scratch out. So if I were to do this again, I would probably start at 2500 grit sandpaper, do both sides, and then go down to about 3000, and then finish with more of a compound, and then a polish. Though the glass stuff works pretty good, or the plastic, clear plastic polish, but I find something like this with just a smaller, you can get these little, I think these are like 3-inch polishing pads. Get a fine finish pad and like a medium cut pad. Use the medium cut with the rubbing compound, something quite abrasive, and that should get rid of all the sand marks. And then I just do a one over with a finer polish with a black finishing pad, and that worked really, really well, just with the drill attachment. And now it's time to start reassembling everything. Yeah, you just want these snug. Literally don't tighten them much, because what happens is it breaks all the surrounding, and that is bad. So just snug, just snug. Snug is good. Now we are good to change the bulbs, and I'm gonna probably leave these ones, these bottom ones, and throw in these guys here. They literally just pop in. They twist back. Okay, so always put a towel down after you finish polishing everything and making the glass all nice, but you don't want to get it all scratched up putting it back. Just gonna heat this up. You don't want to get it too hot. Keep the heat gun moving. Okay, so the switch itself has this green plastic crystal that slides in. See if I can slide this back in. So it slides in. Boom. And so there's a little green, basically crystal that sits in there. Let me pop this back out. And that's what makes the light itself shine green. Now, the issue with that is I don't want them green. So it's this guy that sits in here and they just pop out. And I don't want to leave this just clear. So what I did is I actually made a few molds and molded my own white crystal. So again, I think it doesn't matter what color light you got in there, and they slide just right in, push it in, and boom, this baby's gonna shine white. So I'm gonna prepare the rest of these. I'm super excited about this. So I showed you earlier how to heat gun these out, and there are two bulbs in here, 194 LED bulbs, or I want to put in 194 LED bulbs in here. And so there's really four. I think this is a, what is this, a T20. So how it works is these just pop out. Alright. And this guy just pulls out. Okay, so there's one bulb there, this guy here, and then on this side it's just underneath this clip. There's a bulb right behind here, and you can feel it. And so there's just the two bulbs, one here, and then this guy right here. And so yeah, once you switch those out, super easy. Yeah, so it's cracked right here. And I'm just gonna push them together and then weld it. Pretty
pretty cool system, the plastic welder. Literally, you can use it for a lot of different things. Okay guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do is clean this really good. Now I'm just using a wax and grease remover, just to lightly go over it, get anything off. That should come off. You may even get some of this old adhesive off. Let's see that, it's all just coming off. Very nice and clean. Now the plate that I made up here, sorry there's lots of glare. See, just like stock, but it's just white, clear. And so we'll throw that in there. And let's just make sure the specs measure up nice. So it looks pretty damn good. So I'm just gonna start on one end, peel it just a quarter of the way maybe. I'm just gonna peel just this corner. I really don't want to touch the adhesive. I'm just gonna fold that like so. Maybe I'll even go to this switch here. And once we get this aligned where we want it, so I'm just gonna lay down the part I peeled back. You can see that fits really nice. And then I'm just going to peel the rest back and just take my time laying this down. Overall, I think this project turned out really good. It did take a while to get the climate control gauges done and created and the switches made. I think the lights look really good. I'm happy I got the oil pressure gauge working. I couldn't be happier with how the climate control unit ended up turning out. Again, if you guys want one, I'll leave a link in the description of the video where you guys can definitely pick one up on our website. And I'll leave also links to the plastic welder, some of the other products I used in the description of this video. So if you haven't already, definitely subscribe, and I'd love to know what you guys are working on. Let me know your thoughts on the climate control lights. Let me know your thoughts on doing the dash lights, and I hope this video helps you in your projects. We'll see you in the next one.